And welcome back, everybody, to the TV show. I'm Jay Black, joined as always by Angelo Cataldi and Rhea Hughes. Angelo, Rhea, how are you?
Great. Awesome.
Your sans glasses today, Angelo.
Yeah, I'm going to try to go without them. I'm trying to upgrade my look.
Oh, well, it's you're looking good. We're on camera now, so we all have to look good. Rhea looks fantastic as always.
Yeah.
And I showered and groomed, but you can't tell. I feel like I'm like a comic character, like when they get out of shower and then they hop out and they look exactly like they started. So
exactly.
I was requested to start today's episode by giving Angelo his proper due. Angelo, I watched Sharper. It was fantastic. And I got to tell you, we did, I guess, like 12 years on the radio together. We're doing the TV segment. And every time you'd say, Jay, check this out, review this. I really like this. I want to talk about it Friday. I don't know if I've ever not enjoyed a recommendation of yours. I don't know if our tastes are aligned or if you just know TV that well. Probably a combination of the two. But you have crushed it every time. And if you're not following Angelo's suggestions, you should follow all of our suggestions. Yes. But follow Angelo's when he says something's worth watching. Definitely worth watching because Sharper was great.
Sharper's on Apple Plus, and it's the best thing on streaming right now. Please watch it. You will agree with me. I am a TV visionary.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit because I would say you're not underrated, Angelo. I think you're properly rated. I think Rhea, you're probably underrated. I am very overrated. I wanted to talk a little bit about unsung heroes on our favorite TV shows, past and present. People that have, they've been the glue of a series or they've been the sneaky star, sneaky best part of a series. People that have been fantastic, but did not get the praise that they were due. Who do you have? I asked you to check it out. Angelo, who's your guy or gal that is underrated?
All right. Well, I should point out that your original intention was to honor Kevin Nealon, who you are going to be working with at Helium this weekend. Is that right?
That's right. This Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I'm working with Nealon. I've been working with him for many years, and I wanted to talk about how great he was. And you said, you know what, we should expand it out, which was a very good idea.
Well, Kevin Nealon is great in Saturday Night Live. He was one of the big weightlifter guys. Remember those guys?
Hans and Franz.
Yeah, Hans and Franz and all. He was great. But I got guys that are known, but not yet big stars that I think are bringing everything to the table. And it kind of showed at the SAG Awards, which Rhea and I vote for because we're members of the Screen Actors Guild. And there was and most of these award shows are awful. And we're going to get a whole bunch of them coming up in the next couple of months leading up to the Oscars. But if you wanted to see a great exchange, it was Aubrey Plaza with Jenna Ortega. Aubrey Plaza is from White Lotus, and Jenna Ortega is from Wednesday. And they both have in those shows deadpan characters. And they came out deadpan. And looked at each. It was brilliantly executed, and it made me realize that Aubrey Plaza is one big role away now from being a superstar. She was great. I'm about to binge Parks and Recreation just for her. I did not ever see her in it, but I heard she was great in it. Then I saw her in Emily the Criminal. She was great in that. It's a movie, and she's phenomenal in it. And then she totally won me over with White Lotus. Aubrey Plaza is a star. She writes, she has done some directing, she produces, and she's still young, and she's going to be great. And because I wanted to balance it with a guy, Kumail Nanjiani.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic.
He became famous in Silicon Valley, then did a rom-com, The Big Sick, terrific rom-com, and then blew my doors off as a bad guy in Welcome to Chippendales. And Kumail Nanjiani is a stand-up, I think, right, Jay?
He started as a comic, and I'll tell you, he was the best part of an otherwise big stinker of a movie called The Eternals, which, it's probably the worst Marvel movie. He got into fantastic shape for it. He got like completely shredded. And he played a Bollywood superstar, and he just poured charisma out. And why they only had him in for like 9 minutes of the movie is beyond me, because he was the best part of it.
Well, my two nominees do it all. They're young, and I think they're going to be the next projects they do. I'm waiting to see. I want to see them. They're great.
Just a note on Aubrey Plaza. I'm gonna try to say this without being creepy, because I have a huge crush on Aubrey Plaza. She's in a new movie called Operation Fortune that's coming out. It's a new Guy Ritchie movie. It stars like Hugh Grant and Jason Statham, and she is a bad guy, but like a good bad guy. They're bad guys like taking down other bad guys, and she walks out in a red dress in the trailer, where you just go, well, I'm watching. I don't know what this is, but I'm going to be at that movie theater watching it, because I agree with you. She's fantastic.
But Jay, did you see the dress she had on at the SAG Awards?
I did with wait, was that the one with the midriff?
It had it crossed and covered her breast only slightly.
Yes.
And I don't even know how that's possible. I mean, if you move
it's called tape.
Right?
They use tape. Yeah, they use double-sided tape.
See, I didn't even. That's why it's good to listen to this podcast.
There you go. You learn something new every day.
And I think we have a podcast titled "Double-Sided Tape."
It seemed uncomfortable, is what I'm saying. It did not seem like
two guys discussing some 20-year-old hot chick. Yeah, it's a little uncomfortable.
All right, yeah, I would think so. That's all I got.
All right, who do you have, Rhea?
So I have one that he's just a guy I like in everything he's ever been in, and everybody knows him. It's Rainn Wilson from The Office. He played Dwight. And he was absolutely brilliant. He's been in a lot of things. He was actually had a minor role in Almost Famous. He was in 6 Feet Under. He's been on numerous shows, CSI, Reno 911. He had actually, after The Office, got his own show on Fox called I think it was Backstrom.
Yep.
He played a detective who was drunk all the time. My brother and I absolutely loved it. It was appointment watching for us. And they never renewed it. We couldn't understand why it never got renewed, because he was phenomenal in it. So when if I'm going around to something and I see he's in something, I watch it, because whether it's a small role or a big role, I know he's going to be awesome. He's a great actor.
He just showed up in a movie that my son and I watched and really enjoyed, the Weird Al Yankovic TV movie on Roku channel, which, if you haven't seen, the director says proudly done with zero research. They have no research whatsoever. He's Dr. Demento in that. And he's a guy, he passes the 100% undisputed. When you see him in a movie, you go, oh, good. Okay. That guy's in it at least. When he shows up, you're happy. Yep. And I'll talk about my guy, Kevin Nealon, said it at the beginning. He was part of the renaissance of Saturday Night Live. Angelo, I know you're an SNL head like me. All through the 80s, SNL was they called it Saturday Night Dead after Lorne Michaels left. And in 86, Lorne Michaels comes back and he puts together the cast that I think I grew up with. But if people say what was the best cast ever, it's between the years, the original cast and the one that Lorne Michael put together and Kevin Nealon was a part of. That's the one with Phil Hartman, John Lovitz. Who else am I thinking of here?
Adam Sandler?
Adam Sandler came a little bit later in that run. Dana Carvey, Michael Myers, that whole crew. And Kevin Nealon played often the straight man in that. And I think straight men are often underrated, because you don't realize how difficult it is to set up a joke to get somebody else the punchline. And he also took over for Dennis Miller when Dennis Miller left the news and did a spectacular job. Had great characters like Mr. Subliminal. Love that guy. And let me tell you something. One of the best human beings. Angelo, Rhea, I have so many people that you work with that go, oh, you're funny. You should come open for me. So many celebrities have said that to me. Never once did I get a call, except Kevin Nealon, who worked with me in Cleveland. And then Monday said, get your calendar. Let's figure out what days we're working together.
I have a great Kevin Nealon story that you should ask him about.
Oh, sure.
So apparently he was in anger at management with Jack Nicholson. I guess he was a lawyer or something like that. So he runs into him at a golf club, and he says, oh, it was really nice. Have you been golfing at this Sherwood or whatever? Jack Nicholson ignores him like 2 or 3 times. So he crop dusted him so badly that Jack Nicholson started looking around and went, something died in here. So if you ever tick off Kevin Nealon, he will crop dust you.
I will, you know what? Maybe I'll try to piss him off just to see if he'll do that to me.
All right. I just want to be clear of this. So you open for Kevin at Helium. Is that right?
Yes, I will be opening for him the third.
Because let me just say, I've seen Jay. That is a great show. You go see them at Helium because Nealon is really, he's another guy who's really good at deadpan.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. And he did a Weekend Update for a while and was really good at that too. He was good in everything he did.
So just real quick story about the first time I opened for him was at Stress Factory in Jersey. First time after he said, I want you to be my opener. Now, when you're opening, Angelo, you don't want to do too well.
No.
Because the headliner is the guy and you don't want to.
I saw that happen once and it was ugly.
Yeah, it gets ugly. So everybody I knew comes out to the show because it's in Jersey. I'm opening for Nealon. I'm still young and people care about me. And I get a standing O in the middle. It never happens, ever. And I get a standing O in the middle. Now I have to go backstage after his set and apologize without apologizing because you don't want to be like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm so funny, because it's a once in a lifetime. It was all my friends were there. So I come over and I'm like, Kevin, I think I was a little energetic in that set. Maybe I'll be less energetic in the next set. And he processes this for a second, and then he smiles and he goes, Jay, I want you to understand two things. One, I hired you because I wanted a good show. I was tired of bad shows. So be as funny as you can be. Don't worry about it. And two, I'm famous. They'll forget about you the second I get on stage. And I was like, what a baller this guy is, right? And I mean, that's an alpha move. So
that's good.
And Kevin Nealon, even if I'm not performing with him, go see him. He is fantastic. Now, speaking of comedy, let's move on to something that will be a disaster. I had to send you guys a text saying that this is an emergency podcasting thing that we have to address.
Right.
Tom Brady has announced that before he's taking a year off before he moves into his Fox role as his 1/3 of $1 billion that he's getting to be a Fox announcer, that he will be doing stand-up comedy. I have my opinions on this. Yep. I will tell you them, but I want to hear yours first. Rhea, what kind of stand-up will Tom Brady be?
See, this is what happens when you're Tom Brady and you win 7 Super Bowls and you got the supermodel wife and everybody loves you and they laugh at your jokes for years, but you're really not funny. Yes. So I think this could be an absolute disaster.
Rhea is 100% right. When you're a Tom, you could say anything. You could read the telephone book. People will laugh at it. He will be as funny as an open wound. All right, Jay? Because I'm telling you, now he will not write his material. He'll get people to do it.
Yes.
And it'll be all based off his image as the greatest quarterback of all time. It'll be okay the first few times because of the novelty on it. And then he will understand that in a lot of ways, and you can confirm this, Jay, it's harder to be a stand-up alone with the spotlight on you than it is on a football field with 10 other players on your team.
Helping you out.
It is terrifying, and he's going to find that out after the novelty wears off, and they go, I've seen better. And he should stick to his lane. He's not going to be good at it.
So I'll tell you, number one, Angelo, I think you're being insulting to open wounds. I think that open wounds would actually do better than Tom Brady. Number two, you're right, Rhea, when you're that handsome, I think that women have been laughing at everything Tom Brady has said since he was 19 years old. So He doesn't understand that you have to work for it. Number three, I once wrote for what's his name, Bill Cowher, for the roast of Boomer Esiason. Okay. I sat down with Bill Cowher and I wrote jokes for him, and then I saw him do the jokes. The most unfunny thing I've ever seen. If you're a football player, you've spent your entire life not being funny. You know how to be funny to other football players. You don't know how to be funny to a crowd. And number four, and this is most important, if Tom Brady's people are listening, I will write jokes for him. All that being said, if you pay me Please come and do it.
You are the
Take-
shill of
We'll
shit.
take a check for anything. We're well
My
aware of that.
God,
I'll
what
do
a
it. I'm
bastard.
already writing material right now for it. When I was younger, because women they'll laugh to show like, hey, I think you're cute, right? That's their way of doing it. That fake laugh is, part of it. My problem is I'm legitimately funny. So women would laugh at me and I'd be like, oh, I'm making time here. You're interested. And they'd be like, oh, no.
You're
Not
just
that
funny.
one.
You
Yeah.
just, I remember there was a girl in high school. She was like, I'm just looking for a funny guy. And I was like, and she's like, oh, no, Jay, I mean, funny different. And I was like, oh, funny hot. I get it. So we just had to address that. Tom Brady will be an abject failure. I'm
Yeah.
still predicting he will be an abject failure as an announcer.
Right.
I think you need a personality first. And this guy has lived his life measuring out the amount of carbohydrates that he eats every day. You can't do
God.
that and also be interesting. You can be one or the other, but you can't be both. It's just impossible. All right. So I had to address that. So let's jump. I know you guys don't watch Succession. I keep trying to get you to. I think it's fantastic. I just wanted to talk about this because it was announced that Succession, this will be the final season of Succession. No, Angelo, no, it's a good show. If you can't see him, he's applauding silently. It struck me as something to worry about because usually when it's a hit show or at least one that has entered the zeitgeist, people will let you know a year ahead of time, oh, this next one will be the final one. But it didn't drop until a few days ago when Jesse Armstrong did an interview with the New Yorker and said, oh, by the way, we decided that this will be the last season, which gets me super nervous because I know they've been doing a lot of cost cutting at HBO. HBO denies it's a cost cutting maneuver, that this is organic to the show. And I know a lot of guys like me who love Succession are worried that they will drop the ball in the finale because it wasn't planned out from the beginning. And I wanted to start a segment of the show where we talk about shows that actually stuck the landing. Because I think there's more than we think, but not as many as we want.
There's more than we think because Twitter has to have two opinions. Nothing can ever. So back in the day, everybody just goes, "Well, that was a great ending." But now that we have Twitter and social media, somebody always has to come in with another opinion.
100%. And we are recording this on the 40th anniversary of the last episode of MASH. I don't know if you guys remember that. Still the highest rated narrative TV show of all time. The three-parter and of MASH. So we're starting. This will be an ongoing segment. When we think about it or a show comes to an end, we'll talk about it. I want to start a Hall of Fame, and this is our initial class. You guys, what are your Hall of Fame stuck the landing final episodes?
Right. I'll give you one because whenever anybody brings this up, it's the first one I think of. And it's The Shield. And The Shield, I'm telling you, I think it was 7 seasons. And it is so brilliant the whole time. It's this renegade cop who kills somebody in the first episode. And basically, they form a group of cops who all break all the rules.
Yeah.
And in the end, he gets his comeuppance in a way you never could have predicted, but is so completely organic to what he did. And I will never give away the ending because I think it's the best ending of any show I've ever seen. It's a reason to binge the whole thing.
Yeah.
Because before you start, the ending's going to be fantastic. And The Shield's the one I always think of first.
I had 2, and I was going to choose The Shield if you didn't choose it. And I figured you would. It is organic to the show, and that's what makes it great. Rhea, what's yours?
So it was funny. Angelo mentioned all the award shows are coming up, and you had sent this, for us to think about. And I was thinking about Chris Rock is doing, this big thing on Netflix where he's going to talk about the slap. Right. So it made me think of Will Smith. And I thought the 6 seasons of Fresh Prince, I loved Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I loved Will. I love, Will Smith in there. DJ, I loved Uncle Will, Jeffrey, Ashley. I loved them all. Carlton. The ending of that show was so perfect. When I still see that image of Will standing alone in the house where he basically grew up and, became like a good kid. And it gets me every time. Like I guess it's because, when you move out of a house, you do kind of stand there in the middle of it. But, that just thought that was perfect the way they did it.
100%. I can't say that I watched it since. Like I watched it when it was on, but when it aired, it was an emotional ending.
It was
for
it
sure.
was a phenomenal. It was really good. The characters in there were fantastic.
What you're saying, Rhea, if I'm reading this correctly, is that the ending of Fresh Prince was much more compelling than the actual ending of his career when he
Yes,
left Chris Rock. Because I will
correct.
never watch anything he did before or since. I am still outraged by that act.
Yeah.
Thank you.
100%. And I'm going to go with my choice that I think, Angelo, if I had made this choice 10 years ago, you would have been outraged and angry with me, but you have come around on it because it is The Sopranos.
Oh,
what were you
I thought you were going to say the new ending to Dexter, because they nailed that one too.
No. We're doing a
Sopranos? No.
It's Hall of Fame. I'm going to tell you why. Number one, how many shows still evoke a reaction 15 years later? Not many. That's number one. But number two, I was on board with, and I don't. Can I spoil it? Should I spoil it? I don't know if I should.
On The Sopranos?
The Sopranos.
You can surprise. The world knows,
Yeah,
Jay. It's not a secret.
I was on board with him dying. That was what happened from the second I saw it. And when I think about that, when I think about what it's like for a TV show to air 10 seconds of black, which has never been done, and how like weird and oppressive and like unsettling that is. And then if you think, oh, I'm in Tony's point of view and this is what death is going to be like, there's never been a horror movie that has chilled me more than the idea of spending an eternity in inky black, which is what the feeling of The Sopranos did. The best show on TV in history was The Sopranos. I know people have different opinions on that. That's mine. And I think the best ending one of the best endings of all time, The Sopranos. Well, that's my choice.
Let the record show I binged it last year again, and I still got pissed off.
The power.
And I knew it was coming this time. And
yes.
Sorry.
All right. Well, let's switch to something we could all agree to, which is that Rhea is the best part of the show, and she has the most popular part of the show. British Corner. What do you have for us this week, Rhea?
I was ordered to watch this by Angelo. Chloe, available on Prime, 6 episodes. It's a psychological thriller, which is not generally my cup of tea. It absolutely is Angelo's cup of tea. It's this sad sack woman who's a temp worker, but she's obsessed with this woman's social media account. Follows it, just as you don't understand why she's so obsessed with this young woman. Then she finds out she dies. So she decides, based solely off of the social media accounts of the dead woman and all of her friends and husband and whatnot, to basically infiltrate their whole group as this woman, Sasha. Now, her real name is Becky. She becomes Sasha. She becomes this, everybody wants her to be there. She's she is acted so brilliantly by Erin Doherty. Absolutely phenomenal. Turns out she actually knew the woman who died. That comes up very early in the first episode. So she's a con woman, but she's trying to find out how her friend died because the friend died under mysterious circumstances. But what I will say about what this show tells you, it's a precautionary tale about living your entire life on social media. Who your friends are, who your family are, your kids, what restaurant you've been to, where you're going. She was able to seamlessly put herself in the lives of these people because they lived it all on social media. So there were no secrets. Right. So they're able to do everything. And I mentioned Erin Doherty is the lead actress. She's fantastic. She was in season 3 and 4 of The Crown, played Princess Anne. She stole scenes in The Crown. Wow. She was so good. She's a really good actress. So what I'll say is, again, psychological thrillers are not mine, but I think people will like this. I was a little dissatisfied with the ending, but I think people who like sleek, moody, psychological thrillers, I think they will like it.
That is a phenomenal review. I just write this say. Oh. You really know how to break down a thing. I got nothing to add. She's 100% right.
It's
worth the watch. It's worth the watch.
I have only one thing to add, which is I agree you shouldn't live your life on social media. jblack.tv has all of my links. If you want to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, I'm on all of them. So please come and find me.
Shameless.
Shameless is on Showtime. Yes. Teen Corner. Did you watch anything with Clark this week?
he actually watched this. It's called the Healing Power of Dude. So it's about this 11-year-old who has been homeschooled because he's got severe anxiety issues. He decides to go back to school because he gets an emotional support dog. The dog is named Dude. It's only one season. I don't believe it's getting renewed on Netflix. Got an 89% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. But here's what's cool about it. This is what Clark liked about it. The dog actually has a voice. So, and he's voiced by Steve Zahn. So he's the voice. But the twist on it is the dog's voice can only be heard by other dogs. Okay. So Dude is getting bullied by another dog because he failed as a service animal and got knocked down to emotional support animal. So he busts his chops on it. Here's what Clark said was decent, but this was what made me laugh. He goes, "It's really, Mama, it's really for the preteen group." And I go, "Dude, you just turned 13. You just entered into teendom." But it was, he's like, "It's definitely for the," but here's what I love the most about it. Here was his biggest complaint. He goes, "There's no way those kids were acting in it are 11 years old. They're all way over." So then I tried to explain to him Fonzie on the cast of Grease, and at that point he began to glaze over, and I couldn't get him. I go, "Clark, that's been happening forever." So that was his biggest beef, but he did like it.
Name and network, Rhea. Where was it?
It's The Healing Power of Dude on Netflix.
Just so everyone knows, as someone who has written movies and produced movies that have child actors in them, if you can avoid having child actors in your movies, do it, because it is a huge pain in your butt. Angelo, they hire someone called a child advocate.
Yeah.
Because they know the stage parents will never be, will let your kid do anything. So you actually have to hire someone whose job it is to go, "No, you're not pushing them down a flight of steps."
Wow.
And you go like, "Yeah, but it's for the show." Because the mom will go, "Oh yeah, no, he loves falling down steps. Let him fall down the steps." So you have to pay for someone to tell you no. It's in a lot of ways, it's like marriage. All right. So let's move on. Angelo, what is your pick for this week? What do you got?
This is very awkward because I have always prided myself on giving strong opinions. And I have one here. And then after giving a strong opinion, I will not recommend the movie. All right, which is very unusual. But it finally came on the TV. I've been waiting months for it because I know that Brendan Fraser is going to be nominated. He's already been nominated for an Oscar. Yeah. Will probably win the Academy Award for The Whale. It is a absolutely horrendous 2-hour experience in cinema. Yeah. Because he is a 600-pound man who can barely move. And everything. It was originally a stage play. And I'm telling you, I am hard-pressed to give you any reference point of somebody more embodying the character than Brendan Fraser does in this. He is beyond fantastic. It had to be an incredibly awful experience for him to play this character because the character is just, he's killing himself by just eating till he dies. Yeah. And you are surrounded by members of his family, his daughter, eventually his ex-wife, a woman that helps him out because he can't really fend much for himself. And his little world, he is so great in it. And that's the only reason I could tell you it's worth watching. But my own wife got like practically nauseous watching it. And she was saying, "I don't know if I can do this." And she actually, as she does for a lot of movies, she fell asleep. Then she tried to watch it again without me and fell asleep several more times. But I think it's a defense mechanism. He's so great in it, but it's so hard to watch. I can't recommend it. I don't think you'll have an enjoyable experience in movies, but I watched it. At the end, I was both nauseated by what I witnessed and overwhelmed by the performance of Brendan Fraser. It's great.
That's unexpected too out of him because he hadn't been in anything in so long.
Yeah, it is. And Rhea, the other one is on Netflix, The Murders, A Southern Scandal. And the reason I watched this is because the trial has been going on. And this took you 3 episodes, takes you through what happened. And what Netflix has been great at when they do these documentaries, they did it with The Making of a Murderer. they really raise questions, and they don't tell you what they think, but they
Right.
kind of tell you what you
Yeah.
think. And this Murdoch guy, the
Oh
lawyer,
my God.
Rhea, I
What a
can't tell
dirtbag.
you how much I hate him.
Yeah.
I hate this guy so much. He is such a, and what I got from the documentaries are, he's just an awful guy, and
Yeah.
he's trying to, game the system that he knows so well because he was a very good lawyer. And I am desperate to see him convicted and put away forever this week. It's a great documentary
He
right
killed
now.
his wife and his son, right?
Yeah, there's
Wow.
like 3 different episodes of horrible things he was involved in, and it just keeps he digs it deeper and deeper and deeper. And now he's trying to lie himself out of it. And I just hope I hope there wasn't one member of a jury who believes it. It's a great documentary to take you right up to date on it, and it's maybe 2 hours total, 3 different episodes. It's really great.
I gotta watch that. I love movies or documentaries where like a husband like kills their whole family or like does stuff like that, because then I look so much better by comparison. I'm like, yeah, okay, I didn't do the laundry.
This guy, believe me, you're way better than this guy.
You talking about the whale, Angela, reminds me of a movie that I watched when I was younger called Requiem for a Dream. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's
yeah,
Darren Aronofsky. I had a buddy who showed it to me, and he was like, well, what'd you think? And I said, I thought it was wonderful. I will never watch it ever again. If it's on, I will turn off the channel immediately, because it was such an emotional heartbreak. It's like, I just can't watch that.
It's hard.
Real fast, just want to get your opinion. Jimmy Kimmel is host of the Oscars. What do we think? Are we excited about that or no?
No, not at all. He upstaged Rita Moreno last year by doing a stupid bit while she was being honored. He should have never gotten the job again. I like Jimmy.
Yeah.
No, one and done. Get somebody else a shot.
Wait, my question would be who, though? I'm trying to think. Like Jimmy Fallon? Would you be okay with Jimmy Fallon?
He's terrible at interviewing.
Yeah.
Bring back Billy Crystal one more time.
How about this? Hologram of Johnny Carson.
Yes,
there you go.
Yes.
I've been watching.
Jay Black.
Listen, I'll do it. If Tom Brady doesn't hire me to write jokes, I will come out and do that do the Oscars. Guys, thank you so much for joining me again.
Gotta give you the review, Jay.
Oh, wait. I'm sorry.
Let's
go for it.
Through it. You could see Succession at HBO Max, final season coming up. You could watch. Hold on, I gotta actually get my glasses out. I can't read anymore. It's the Healing of the Power of Dude. Rhea, is that right?
The Healing Power of Dude.
It's at Netflix. Chloe's on Amazon Prime.
Yep.
The Shield is on Hulu. The Sopranos is on HBO Max. Murders is on Netflix. Sharper, that's the thing you got to see on Apple Plus. And Tom Brady will be available nowhere because he's going to suck.
Thank you, Angelo. Thank you, Rhea. Guys, if you enjoyed the podcast, please leave a review. I know that every podcast asks you to do that, but it really does help us. Leave us a comment on the YouTube channel. If you have a request for us, we will try to get to it. Really appreciate you listening, and we will see you next week on the TV show.